appearance on Dion's Daily Dose does not imply endorsement from or by any candidate or guest. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by Dion Bergeron or Dion's Daily Dose are his own and do not represent the views, thoughts, and opinions of any guest. Material and information presented is for general information purposes only. The Dion's Daily Dose name in all forms and abbreviations are the property of its owners, and its use does not imply endorsement of or opposition to any specific organization, product, or service. If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Dion's Daily Dose, Saturday, March 23rd. Is it just me or is it going faster? Like every time I turn around. All right. And there's Shawn. Welcome, Shawn.
Thanks
it's always
for having
a pleasure
me,
to have
Dion.
you on the show. Okay. Now, for those of you who watched my last video, that audio whine that was there, I took care of that. Should be gone. We shouldn't have that problem anymore. It's fixed. I could go into why, but the short version, it took me hours, but it's fixed. So hopefully your ears will thank me. So I tried to watch. I'm like, oh my God, but it's fixed now. So thankfully, yay, good deal. All right. So we had a lot to get into, and it's pretty crazy. The first thing, I think, the big thing is this $1.2 trillion spending bill that they passed in the middle of the night. And there are already calls to get rid of Speaker Johnson because he let this happen. I think the most serious, egregious problems Rand Paul covers, right?
Oh, yeah. All the earmarks, that wasteful spending that are in this bill. Yeah.
So
he did this top 16.
Here we go. He calls them the shameful 16. And here we go. The shameful 16, which spend Americans' hard-earned taxpayer dollars on individual senators' pet projects, were chosen amongst more than 1,400 earmarks, detailed over 1,000 pages, and of course released just one day before leadership in both parties will force a vote on the deal.
And they broke their own rule.
They broke multiple of their own rules.
Where it's supposed to be 72 hours before.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. And they cornered Mike Johnson and said, well, what about the 72-hour thing? And his response was, well, that's not necessarily a rule. We just said that, apparently. But here are the shameful 16. $2 million to the University of Maine for the construction of a kelp and shellfish nursery. $2 million, ladies and gentlemen, while our homeless are our veterans are homeless and starving to death. We need to send $2 million to the University of Maine so that they can build a kelp and shellfish nursery. And bear in mind, all of these universities have like multi-billion dollar, what do they call them? The stock. What's that?
Endowments.
Yeah, the endowments that these universities have are crazy. But we're paying $388,000 to Columbia University in New York, a private university with a $13.6 billion endowment, $1.5 million to Game on New York to expand the gaming industry, $1.7 million for wind energy workforce education and training in New York, $250,000 for the Byrd Center for Congressional History and Education Archives in West Virginia, $1.5 million for economic and business development training for lobstering in Maine. 249. I'm just going to say that. Doesn't it seem like these should be state funding issues rather than the federal government? Like the federal government is supposed to represent all of the state's interests.
Yep.
These seem like things that should be like the whole New York things. Those should all be New York funding. And if for some reason too much money is coming out of New York going to the federal government, then it seems like New York should maybe be cut a break so that they can implement these programs themselves. I mean, it's just a crazy
You're
thought.
right.
$249,000 for the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. Over $250,000. Well, right at $250,000 for the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. $250K. $85,000 to a public school district in Connecticut to increase school attendance.
Wow.
$1.1 million for a food incubator project in Delaware. You ready for this? $1 million granted to SAGE, an elderly LGBTQ plus advocacy group in New York, for, quote, cultural competency training for medical staff. Huh?
Wow.
What? $150,000 to City Seed Inc. in Connecticut for a culinary training program. This is your tax dollars hard at work, ladies and gentlemen. $250,000 for Tech 2 Market in Delaware, a program aiding in early stage clean energy startups. $350,000 for the Harlem Arts Alliance in New York. $1 million to Martha's Vineyard Hospital. I'm sure they are struggling with their finances in Martha's Vineyard. $500,000 to the San Diego Zoo for a student biodiversity core program. Biodiversity core program at the San Diego. What is biodiversity?
Have to do with the zoo.
Yeah, what does that have to do with the zoo? Are they like trying to expand the plants? I'm a little confused. $1 million for the Cambridge, Massachusetts Community Center to install solar panels so they can operate off the grid. You can find a 2024 March Earmark Madness tournament bracket below. Yeah, and then we can, vote on it to see which one's the dumbest. That should be interesting. But all right, so let's see. RG10 says, what's up, guys? How are you? Will you discuss today? Yes, we plan on covering the terrorist attack in Moscow in just a few minutes. We're going to talk about this crazy ass spending first. Tom Jones says, what really scares me is this new ATF Office of Threat Assessment that Garland set up. So what constitutes a threat? Basically subverting the second. Yeah. So that's actually something that we just saw before we came in here. GOA, Gun Owners of America, did a video about the kind of concerning
provisions in the bill.
Yeah, some of the provisions that were in the bill. Let's see here. I'm going to get it up here. There it is. Okay, so one of the things that was really interesting, let's see if I can share this to you. There it is. Okay. So one of the things is $2 million, ladies and gentlemen, in salaries for the department to provide member security outside of the Capitol campus in the National Capital Region, right? So the U.S. Capitol Police is responsible for the security of senators and congressmen while they're in D.C., right? This gives them $2 million. It's basically personal security.
But there's a lot of crime that's going around. Yeah. Fox did a Fox did a segment on this today where crime is up big in that area. So it's really Washington, D.C. itself that's really under siege. So I think that's why they...
Yeah, but the interesting thing is it's specifically for members of Congress.
So, forget about their staff.
Yeah, forget about the staff. Forget about, the citizens. We got to protect these overpaid members of Congress. So let's see. There's one more thing that I wanted to share with you guys because I think it's important. You need to know who voted for this crap. So here we go. There. Okay. So I'm going to tell you all the Democrats with the exception of a guy from Colorado. And even though he claims to be an independent, Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders actually voted against this bill, which, dude, if Bernie Sanders votes against it and all the Republicans and Democrats vote for it, like, what is going on? But go ahead.
My guess is why Bernie voted against it was because the Israel funding. But that's just, I don't know. Didn't hear anything.
It's just a guess. I get it. Yeah. I like guesses and theories here personally. But let me show you. This is actually the members from Indiana who voted for and against this bill, how they voted. The only ones to vote no, interestingly enough, Jim Banks voted no on this bill. I actually expected him to vote yes for it, but he voted no. Carson, which is a Democrat, Andre Carson voted no. Victoria Spartz voted no.
Our rep voted yes, right?
Yeah. Mervan voted with the Democrats and voted yes. Now that is that's the House. Let me show you the Senate.
And then we can get into what else is in this bill.
Yeah, then we'll get into.
There's other stuff in it.
There's tons of other stuff in it, including some very concerning gun control measures.
There's some good stuff in it.
There are. Okay, here we go. So here is the entire full list of Republicans who voted
yes. Or was that no?
Yeah. These all voted yes.
Romney was on there.
Yes. So we got Boozman of Arkansas, Katie Britt, blah, 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 blah. These are all the senators. Obviously, Todd Young, who's a gigantic POS, voted for it.
Did Rubio?
Let's see here. No.
Cruz probably voted no.
Romney voted for it. I don't see Cruz. Yeah, I don't see Cruz. I don't see Rubio. Tom Cotton voted for it. Kevin Cramer, Lindsey Graham voted for it. Chuck Grassley voted for it. What was the one you were surprised that voted no? Who was it? McConnell? Did McConnell vote?
Is McConnell on there? I don't remember.
No, but Mitch McConnell voted for it.
Okay.
There was someone earlier that we were surprised, but I don't remember what it is. It's not important. So take a screenshot, whatever. These are the people to watch out for. Come on. Let's start primarying these people. Okay, let's get into some of the more concerning aspects of this bill.
Can we say some of the good stuff there is?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's some good things. What do you got?
The pay raise for our soldiers.
That's a good thing. Absolutely.
And then $27 billion increase to armor servicemen with the tools they need.
Okay. I'm down for that.
It also pulled back $20.2 billion that the Biden administration tried to hire the 85,000 IRS agents. They got rid of some of that funding.
Oh, they did. Okay, that's a good thing.
There's a couple good things in here.
Yeah, there are. I'm not saying everything is bad, right?
Double security cooperation funding for Taiwan. I don't know how you feel about helping Taiwan.
So here's the thing, right? I am not opposed to helping other countries, right? I'm not opposed to protecting, like Taiwan, right? Taiwan is an important United States ally. Let's be straight. A lot of stuff comes from Taiwan.
And China.
I know. I'll say this, though. I sorry to cut you off, but I want to make this point. When I was younger, I remember a lot of our stuff was made in Taiwan. Do you remember that?
I do not.
So, like, all of our electronics were made in Taiwan. That tag used to be on everything. Little remote control cars.
I kind of remember that.
Yeah, our video game systems like the Ataris and stuff like that. Everything was from Taiwan. Now everything's from China.
Yep.
So just a little note there.
It also funds 22,000 Border Patrol agents.
Which, okay, good. Yeah. Does it increase the number, or is that just funding for?
Let me see if it said to the highest level ever. So I don't know.
Okay, so it sounds like it was a plus to the. Well, I'm looking for something in particular. Okay, here it is. No. Okay, I found it. All right, so we got a whole lot of pages here. I'm going to give you guys, if you put in the House Appropriations Committee, let's see, let me share this there. And you'll go to, it'll bring you to appropriations.house.gov, right? And then if you look at, let's go back so you guys can see it. There's a red bar right here. It says view bill text and joint explanatory statements for the second FY24 further consolidated appropriations act, right? If you click on this red bar, again, appropriations.house.gov, click on this red right here. You'll see it brings you to appropriations, further consolidated appropriations act 2024 here. And then the first line, a summary of the package is available. This little red thing here, click. This is it. And they, of course, make it sound like they're doing such a phenomenal job, right? In recent years, domestic spending has skyrocketed, adding trillions to our national debt. For the 118th Congress, the House Republican Conference made a promise to change the trajectory of federal spending and put an end to budgetary waste without shortchanging investments in national security. Now, House Republicans are delivering on that promise. What?
Yeah, they always
listen to these idiots, man. Like, really?
This part, can I just say?
Yeah, go ahead, by all means.
This is probably the reason why Bernie voted no.
Okay.
The Israeli Cooperative Missile Defense Program. This bill fully funds the Israeli Missile Defense Program, which includes the Iron Dome.
See, yeah, that makes sense that Bernie would vote no on it.
And that's probably why I don't want to put words in people's mouths, but that's probably why Andre Carson voted no too.
Probably. And here's what it comes down to. Again, I'm not opposed to sending money to Taiwan necessarily. I'm not even necessarily against helping Israel. But take care of the United States first.
Okay.
There's no money in the budget for defense at Mexico, like the wall or anything. There's no money in that.
That's a fair argument.
Right. That's my problem.
Ukraine, I'm completely sick of giving them money.
Yeah. Oh, dude, stop giving money to Ukraine. How much goes to Ukraine in this?
I'm looking for.
Someone said $100 billion.
I'm looking for that part. It's in here somewhere.
Yeah, it's in there, but there's a lot. There's a lot to go through. Let's see here, and of course they're going to touch on the most stuff. But let's this right here. I want to focus on this because Defense Appropriations Act provides a $27 billion increase over the fiscal year 23 enacted level. Blah, 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 includes countering the PRC, increasing counter-narcotics efforts, and investing in quality of life initiatives for service members and their families. I want to say this. We need to treat our servicemen better. Our veterans and people who are in the service, there's a reason that recruitment is at an all-time low. Part of it, yes, part of it is the woke nature of these new commercials and the restructuring of the military to favor the ridiculousness over security, which is what it should be, right? But part of it is we don't take care of the people that sign up to put their life on the line to defend this country. It's nuts. All right, so let's get back to this. Maxes out production of critical munitions, doubles security cooperation funding for Taiwan, like you said, invests in next generation fighter aircraft, blah, blah, blah. Now, this line here, like you said, funds the largest increase in basic military pay in over 20 years, a 5.2% increase. I'm in favor of that. Absolutely, we should pay our service members more. A lot of people don't realize this, but our service members don't get paid very well.
No.
They really, really don't. When you look at joining the Army or whatever compared to like becoming an electrician or doing a trade-related skill, it's a joke how much they get paid. cuts $50.5 million from diversity and inclusion programs in the president's budget request, rolling back funding to FY21 levels. Cuts $574 million from wasteful climate change programs, retaining 79% of cuts included in the House bill, prohibits the president from being able to close Guantanamo, prohibits funds from being used in contravention of the FY23 congressional repeal of the mandate, prohibits funding for Wuhan Institute of Virology. So yeah, there are some good things in there, right? If you guys again want to go through this, there is a lot. And of course, the Republicans are going to make it sound like they're doing a phenomenal job. We're cutting all of this. But some of this stuff is straight up ridiculous.
You want to go to the done part? Found what I was looking for.
Okay.
All right, here's the foreign aid that's in it.
There we go.
$3.3 billion for assistance to Israel.
Okay, so Israel gets $3.3 billion in assistance. Okay.
$1.3 billion for Egypt.
$1.3 billion for Egypt, a country that hates us.
$300 million for Taiwan.
A whole $300 million for Taiwan.
And $425 million for Jordan. And that's it.
That's it. Okay.
Ukraine is not in here.
Ukraine is not even in there. See, I gotta say this. Thank you. Right? Thank you. I appreciate the fact that Ukraine's not, in there.
Democrats probably tried it. There was just too much resistance.
I gotta move this camera.
Oh, you want to talk about the gun?
Yeah. So let's talk about what happened with the gun stuff. What are you talking about? Are you talking about the
gun provisions in this bill? Did you talk about?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Do you have them or?
Oh no, I don't see it in here.
Okay, that's all right. We have. Let's see. What would be the best way to do that? I'm trying to think because we had. I just took a screen or a picture of that one, but there's far more to it. So there's basically there's 20 something million dollars of gun control in this bill. 20 million, 20.5 million, something like that. Around $20 million. And half of it goes to, matter of fact, let me find the video.
Isn't it something to do with teaching students about guns?
Yeah, so let's find the video because this is, I think, pretty important. I think this is, let's see. Let me see if this is the right one. No, this is the wrong one. Hold on. GOA. It's, I might have to spell it out. Hang on. Yep, here it is. Okay, so let me go to this.
Congress is up to something.
1 second. Let me get this in the proper place because that's another thing that I learned was I've been putting my videos on the wrong place to share with you guys. That's why my audio. Okay, so this is from Gun Owners of America, which I found is a phenomenal organization and far more concerned about our rights than the National Rifle Association. Now, I will say they finally did get rid of LaPierre.
Yeah, finally.
Finally. But let's see here. Tom Jones says once President Trump is elected, he will kill all this wasteful spending bills and agendas, making America energy independent and bringing production back to America. That's my hope.
I hope.
We'll hope. I mean, that's all we can do at this point. But let me show you guys what we got here because I think it's very salient to what we're talking about. Here we go. I'm going to play this for you. Hi, Ben. Thanks for doing this, Ben. Okay. Must pass.
Always wait till the last minute.
Always. Here it is. Listen. Now, is it just me? Sean pointed out that this guy looks scared.
Yeah.
Mike Johnson, like the look on his face, he looks afraid. And I found that very interesting.
Does
Yep. There it is. Okay, so we're going to pause it here because I want you guys to be able to see this. The committee includes $12,500,000 to conduct research on firearm injury and mortality prevention. Given violence and suicide have a number of causes, the committee recommends CDC take a comprehensive approach to studying these underlying causes and evidence-based methods of prevention of injury, including crime prevention. All grantees under this section will be required to fulfill requirements around open data, open code, pre-registration, blah, 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 blah. You get it.
Washington.
Washington. Okay, so again, firearm injury and mortality prevention research. The agreement includes $12.5 million, the same level as fiscal year 2023, to conduct research on firearm injury and mortality prevention. Again, blah, 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 blah. Check this out. They're not. It gets worse. Nationwide. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, this really does it all. Oh, okay. RG10 asks, sorry guys, I missed it. Are there any expenses in the budget for Ukraine and Israel, and how much? Great questions. We actually looked through the foreign funding, and there is no funding in there for Ukraine that we could find. However, Israel, they're given $3 billion, I think, three and a half.
Yes.
Right. Something like that. Around $3 billion to Israel. Right. I can't even with that thing. Listen. Yeah, they're trying to push gun control for our veterans. The people who were trained in how to use firearms properly.
Yeah, they're afraid of
for no matter which branch. I'm gonna tell you guys, no matter which branch it is, that's the basic training involved with that branch. I mean, whether Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, they all have to go through basic training.
Yeah.
And basic training includes proper firearms training, usage, storage, all of that. So there's a bunch of money in there for gun control. The short version. That's really the majority of it. Should I keep playing?
We can move on.
Let's move on.
You want to talk about ISIS attacking?
Yeah,
Russia?
let's talk about ISIS and Russia. We've got. So first of all, Shawn shared this to me. There it is. Okay, so this is I found very interesting. Now this is the claim. I don't know the accuracy of any of this at all, but according to the Sun UK edition, Russian state TV broadcast chilling deep fake video of Ukraine spy chief, quote, bragging about Moscow terror attack. Now, one thing I do want to say, one of the claims that were made was that the terrorists had tried to flee through Ukraine.
That's what our media is saying.
Yeah, our media is claiming that the terrorists tried to escape via the southern border of Ukraine.
Of Russia? Yes.
Anyway, the border into Ukraine. I mean, I thought it would be more west, whatever.
BBC was saying that too.
Yeah, so there is the claim, right? And what they're saying is that Russian TV broadcast is playing a fake clip and try to shift the blame onto Ukraine. According to this, it's an AI-generated video of Alexei Danilov doing the rounds online in an apparent disinformation campaign to sow fury and confusion over who was behind the shooting attack. The well-reported culprits are ISIS.
Yeah.
That's who they're saying. They're saying ISIS is responsible, and the Russian claim is that they've all been caught.
Yeah.
Everyone that was involved was caught.
There's like 14 people. Saying.
Yeah. Another interesting thing is there's a clip that we just watched where they had one of the guys cornered on the ground, and a reporter had asked him, why did you do this? What's your reasoning for this? And his answer, for money.
Yeah. And the question is, who gave him that money?
Bingo. Who's paying these people? Who is paying these people?
It could be ISIS, but it also could be somebody else.
It could be. Here's the interesting thing. What we've been told about ISIS is ISIS isn't fiscally driven. They're not driven by money. They're driven by their religion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless they picked up somebody that was desperate.
Yeah, and that's possible. Absolutely. Yeah, there are those people who will do anything for money. I mean, I guess it depends on how much you offer me and what you want me to do, but everybody has their price. Mine's high, just so you know. It's very, very, very high.
But yes, okay. To go back, they also were saying that the death toll is up to 140 now. Yeah,
so that's the next thing. Here it is right here. It's on. Okay, let me bring this back up. Okay, so according to this, at least 133 were killed, including children, and over 120 wounded when according to this, 4 gunmen stormed Crocus City Hall and opened fire on the crowd before setting it ablaze. As bodies continue to be pulled from the rubble, furious claims are being spewed by Russian officials, linking Ukraine to the massacre, despite an ISIS splinter cell taking responsibility. Now, I will say this. One of the things that we've noticed is that in all of the news articles I've read where ISIS is taking responsibility, every single one of them makes sure to include the line, but provided no proof.
Yeah. I've been seeing that too.
Yeah. ISIS is saying it was us, but they're not providing any evidence whatsoever that it actually was them, other than the claim.
And our government is saying that it was ISIS, that our intelligence agencies said it was ISIS.
Right. And that's interesting because 10, 15 years ago, that would have been the end of it. I'd have said, our intel said it's them. But now,
I don't know.
I don't know what to believe.
I'm with you.
I put it this way. I would find it equally plausible that our intel services lied versus telling the truth. Neither would surprise me at this point. What about you?
It wouldn't surprise me. But I'm just trying to think what would be the benefit for Ukraine. No, I'm just saying, why would Ukraine do this? Though I think it's ISIS that did it.
It's possible. Yeah, absolutely.
Because
it's
what
possible.
would Zelensky gain by doing this?
Well, one of the things is not that they gain, but one of the things
Okay,
that
but-
kind of focus on is what does ISIS gain?
They are mad at Russia because Russia, remember how we were talking about last week
Go ahead.
that they Taliban want to be recognized as the government?
Mhm.
Well, Russia has recognized them as the government so they're mad at Russia.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
that could be the reason.
That could very well be that's an interesting point in case you didn't watch last week's show. The Taliban is in charge of Afghanistan now. And they are claiming to be the legitimate government. And one of the countries that recognize that is Russia.
Yeah.
They said, you fulfill all the criteria, you're the government. And ISIS is saying, no. Okay, so hold on. Here we go.
All right,
All right, we have a comment. RG says we have many theories and conspiracy theories in our society. The government and Putin say that Ukrainians and the United States are to blame for this. And there are really a lot of coincidences.
Wow.
See, that's one of the things I will tell you. See, even RT was banned over here.
You can just go to the website. You can't do video. Right.
You cannot watch RT videos. At some point in the near future, I'll set up a, what do you call it? The IP hider.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
I think so.
I can't think of the name, but basically it shrouds your IP as something else, right?
Okay.
It says you're coming from Russia rather than, for some reason, the name escapes me right now.
But I know what you're talking about. I had a friend who used to play around with that. So
RG10 says, first of all, everyone knows the connection between ISIS and the United States. Yes. And that's interesting because I actually just saw a story about how the U.S. is actually responsible for ISIS and how we set it up many years ago. He says, secondly, the United States recently warned its citizens that a terrorist attack is planned in Russia and they need to leave the country as soon as possible.
Very true.
Yes. And they also included, that was something that I wanted to talk about as part of this, is the U.S. government did. Now they claim they warned Russia, right? But what they did do for sure that we can verify is they warned United States citizens that there was a terrorist attack imminent in Russia and to avoid crowded places, right? He says, thirdly, after the terrorist attack, the terrorists went to the border with Ukraine. And again, there is information that the Ukrainian border guards would have opened a buffer zone for them. I believe it.
I wouldn't put anything past the deep state.
RG said there's also a theory at the 9/11 level that all of this was planned by Russian special services.
That's possible too.
That's what I'd say. I would believe just about anything that has evidence. But moving on to here. The interview has been dismissed as a complete fake as the actual Ukrainian broadcast took place on March 16th and didn't even feature Danilov at all. In the video, the fuzzy-looking face of Danilov appears to say, "Is it fun in Moscow today? I think it's a lot of fun. I would like to believe that we will arrange such fun for them more often." Yet, BBC verified journalist, I'm not saying that, stated that the AI-generated audio was dubbed over a mismatch of two recent Ukrainian TV interviews. Exposing the sham, he wrote on X, the deepfake video has in fact been created as a composite of two recent interviews. So, if you see this guy talking about how he was responsible or whatever, allegedly it's a fake. It's a deep fake. So I did want to make sure to include that because there's going to be a ton of theories out there. There's going to be people saying, what about this and what about that? So let's see here. This says, RG says, it is very strange. For those of you who don't know, RG is one of our viewers who lives in Russia.
Yep.
He knows a lot more about that than we do, obviously. Yeah. He says it is very strange that the special services drove for a very long time and they could not immediately detain all the terrorists, but let them escape. It's possible. It's
It is.
possible. Yeah, anything's possible. I will say, oh, wait, hold on. There's more. Okay.
Cool.
He says, and they were detained only on the way to the border of Ukraine. And why would the terrorists go to a place where everything is now as protected as possible, where there are a lot of military? You know, he says, it's all very strange too. I do agree that the entire situation is odd. Not because an attack happened, because in today's society, I could see it, you know. But one of the interesting things to me is the initial toll, right, was reported to be 40.
Yep.
40 people lost their lives and like 100 injured. That was the initial report. Much like other situations like this that have happened, it's suddenly, and there was no, okay, live. Yeah, we got one more person that was found, one more person that was found. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like a tally of a live report where they're bringing people out. It was all of a sudden, it went from 40 people to 132. Like just out of nowhere. Did you notice that?
I did. I saw the report that it went to 70 and then it went to 132. But what they would probably say is that they're finding people to the roof collapsed underneath the.
And that's
rubble.
another thing. They set fire. They didn't just go in and shoot people. They set fire to the building and apparently were lobbing explosives around. So it's a very, very interesting thing. Let's see here. Hold on. We got more. RG says, well, the third theory is that this is just a terrorist attack from ISIS, which is the least believed. Why they need it now in Russia? Is it not clear? Moreover, most often these are suicide bombers who are no longer afraid of anything. And in the video from the interrogations of terrorists, they look like whiny little girls. They don't look like ISIS. No, you're good. He said, sorry for that monologue. I want your opinion. Yeah. So
you have an interesting perspective.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I did find very interesting is the people that pulled this off, right? The terrorists that they were able to apprehend. They don't come off as hardened ISIS fighters.
No. Not
even remotely. You know what they remind me of? They remind me of the guys that want to play soldier.
Okay.
Like the little, like maybe they're veterans, right? That were like had a dishonorable discharge or something from a various service and said, no, we're going to go fight. Like the Soldier of Fortune type guys in the magazines that would advertise their services as like a paramilitary group, but they're not really. It's not like Blackwater or some of these other actual paramilitary groups, right? PMCs, private military companies.
Okay.
It's like this little group of budget A-team guys. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the A-team?
I have not.
Okay. Do you know who they are?
It
was a show from the 80s, right? And then they redid it. And it was, anyway, the 80s show had a group of guys that had various skills and they were ex-military and, framed for a crime they didn't commit. The standard 90s, 80s trope, right?
Okay.
And it was a group of like 4 or 5 guys, 6 of them, I think total 6. And like they knew what they were doing. But the reason I say a budget A-team is they seem like a group of guys that decided, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a contract that we can make some money on, and they're just not very good. Realistically, how hard is it to go into a large place with a bunch of unarmed civilians and unalive them?
Not very hard.
It's not hard at all.
No.
I mean, let's be real. You don't need to be some special operator to pull this off. And that's another thing that's kind of on my mind is Russia doesn't have the Second Amendment.
No.
They're very, they believe in gun control over there. Whether that's good or bad is up to Russia. It's not our deal. But I do find it interesting that so many of these places that advocate gun control have problems with gun violence. And it's just something to keep in mind. I'm not, I don't want to turn this into
A gun debate.
Yeah, a gun debate, but it is something to keep in mind. Another interesting aspect of this attack is the warning. And this is what I want to show you guys. So let me bring it up so that you can see what. First of all, I didn't realize that Russia was as big as it is. Because we were talking about, okay, so let's say because the U.S. claims we warned Russia. We told them that an attack was incoming, right? Okay, let's say that's true. Let's say that the U.S. intel services called up Russia and said, "Hey, man, you got a terrorist attack coming." They didn't tell them where. They didn't tell them or when. Yeah, no where, no when, no possible things that were going on. Let me show you guys how big Russia is, because I told him, I'm like, let's pick the United States, because I honestly thought they were about roughly the same size.
I knew that Russia was bigger.
He knew Russia was bigger, right?
But I didn't know it was that big.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you guys exactly how big it is in just a second. But what I said was, let's say someone called the president or the Secret Service or the FBI or whomever here in the U.S. and said, "You have a terrorist attack incoming." Doesn't tell them where, doesn't tell them what it is, none of that stuff. The U.S. is huge, dude. The U.S. is massive. Where? We can't just shut everything down.
No, same with Russia.
And I said, Russia's huge too, but I didn't realize it was this big. Let me show you guys how big Russia is. I think it said 1.8 or 1.9 times the size. Now, this is the U.S. with Alaska. This isn't just mainland U.S. This is the U.S. with Alaska. We can almost fit 2 of our country into Russia. That's mind-blowing, because I've driven across the United States many, 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 many times. I had over 1 million miles of safe driving when I was a trainer, and I've been to all 48 states. I know exactly how big the United States is. And to think Russia's you might as well say twice the size.
Uh-huh.
Russia's twice the size of the U.S. What are you supposed to do with hey, a terrorist attack's incoming?
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do with that. RG10 laughed and put an arm, the little strong arm emoji. Are you? Yeah. Yeah, Russia's massive, which,
yes.
Again, I don't know why we are not seriously pursuing like friendship with Russia, dude. And these lefties can, oh, hold on. He says we have a joke. Okay. Yeah. Tell us, please. Because I know these lefties say that Putin's this and Putin's that, and he's a warmonger and he's blah, 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 blah. In every situation that I've looked, and so RG10, I know you can't really get into this, but there is a conspiracy theory that Putin was replaced with a double, and that he's not actually the original Vladimir Putin, that he was swapped out at some point. Did we talk about that?
I don't think we talked about it on the show, but I sent you the article. That was a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
I'm not sure if we discussed that, but anyway, yeah. If you want to look it up, it's out there. It's an interesting article. It's actually the great grandson of Stalin, wasn't it? Yeah. However many greats.
I think it was 2 great.
Yeah, great grandson, whatever. My question obviously is, why are we listening to anything?
True.
That's a relative of Joseph Stalin, one of the biggest mass murderers in history. But okay. So let's see here. Next, we have, if I can get to it. Oh yeah, I gotta close that. I'm clicking around. Okay. Let me get to
the third topic.
Yeah, the third topic is, if I can find it, we got a whole bunch of stuff about what we've already talked about, but Where is it? I'll get to it. In the meantime, I want to show you guys this because I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw, but let me bring this up on here and then I'll show you guys.
Only AOC.
Yeah. Good old AOC. According to her, where's me? Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay, so this is less than 2 minutes. Okay, hold on. Here it is.
Okay.
Here's our joke. After 3 hours of driving in Europe, you will arrive in another country. In the USA, you will be in another state. And in Russia, 3 hours later, you will be on another street in your city.
Wow.
I mean, it's not totally wrong. I mean, that's true. And it's so 3 hours. Let's see. I'm trying to think. 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours from Indiana. If you go east, right?
Ohio.
You'll just barely get to Ohio. Just barely. If you go south,
You'll still be in Indiana.
You'll still be in Indiana. You'll be right at Indianapolis. If you go west, you will be in another state. Yeah, you'll be in Illinois. Depends on now if you keep going around the lake, you could potentially be in Wisconsin, depending on Chicago traffic. Yeah. Okay. Let me. So here's the setup. Right? So the House Oversight Committee is talking about influence peddling, and they're talking about good old Hunter's abuse of power and how he sold access to his father. Right? Here we go. I'm just gonna.
And it's AOC's turn in a committee hearing.
Yeah, it's good old AOC. It's her turn. Let me.
It's on the other side.
There we go. You ready?
Yep.
Oh, it'd help if I unmuted it. Here we go.
Yes. He told you, AOC.
Isn't yeah. And Shawn made a great point. He just told you what the crimes were, and you interrupted him to ask the same question. She looks insane, doesn't she?
No comment.
Okay, so we have AOC on the congressional record claiming that RICO is not a crime. So then I think all the charges against Donald Trump should be dropped, right? Since according to her, RICO is not a crime.
Category of crime.
Blah, blah, blah. She goes on. The short version is, according to her, RICO is not a crime, which
that's exactly what they charged Trump with.
Right.
In the Georgia case.
It's funny, isn't it? It's almost like these people have no idea what they're talking about.
No.
Imagine that. So yeah, I wanted to make sure I shared that with you guys because yes, indeed.
And RICO is basically a group that's going to commit crime.
Yeah. It's a grouping of crimes. It shows. Go ahead.
It makes it look like there's enough evidence, I think. Maybe I'm biased because I'm not a Biden fan, of his family doing that with corruption with the different group with the different what's it called, the different banks or different, I can't think of what I want to say, the different can't think of the
Let's see. RG said, if there is time, I would like you to watch Putin's address after the terrorist attack to hear your opinion about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to watch
I
that.
don't know if
Okay, so this is 12 hours ago, U.S. News and World Report. Go away. I'm just trying to find it. I'm trying to find the video of it. Go ahead.
There's a lot of, they usually don't let us watch Putin addresses in the U.S. So I looked for it and I couldn't find it. So you could try to look for it.
I'll try to look for it. See, Shawn makes a great point. We tend to not be shown, and you know what? It's funny because there's a link there that I'll cover in just a second, but we tend to not be shown what they actually say. We get reports about what they've said,
like a
breakdown,
an
analysis.
It's not even Putin's translator a lot of times. It's
right.
Just, this is what Putin said.
No, see, that was 3 weeks ago. Hold on. Okay, so wait, here's routers. Let's check routers.
I can look for it.
Yeah, see if you can find it. If you can, send it to me.
I will.
It's
we've heard.
I'm obviously going to need to install that IP blocker. For some reason, I'm having just like a brain fart when it comes to what it's called, but okay, I can close that. I do want to find this because now here's I have the alleged translation of it. So if you can find the video, we'll watch it. If not, routers is kind of about their honesty. So we may be able to get it from there. At least the English translation of it, but we'll definitely cover it.
I heard that he had a address.
Yeah, he did make an address. For some, I saw part of it. It was the part that I saw was short, but we'll see if what I saw translates.
I might have found it.
Really?
I don't know what this is.
Okay.
If you want to take the chance, just to see what it is.
Yeah, let's go for it, man.
All right, give me a second. Let me share it. This might be it.
So Marjorie Taylor Greene filed a motion to vacate on Speaker Johnson.
And we're probably going to disagree on this. If you want to.
Yeah, go ahead and send that to me, but we can talk about it in the meantime. So
I don't think it's the time to do that. In the middle of election year, and then another member of the House resigning.
Right. We barely have the majority.
They're going to Republicans have a one
seat majority.
So it might be very difficult to get a speaker.
I think it would be very, very hard. Okay, so let's hold on. I'm going to copy.
All right, see if this works.
Yeah, let's see if this is what we're looking
this
for.
Is what I'm...
There.
I didn't play it, so I don't know what.
We're going to see if this. So let me get past the ad here. Okay, so we found it. This may or may not be it. Is it in English?
No,
or
we'll probably have to do a translate.
Okay, let's see if they have.
I think this comes from a media from India.
Subtitles, closed caption, unavailable. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna see what this has to say.
All right, let's see.
This is 11 and a half hours long.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, no, we're not watching all of this. Just, relax. And unfortunately, I have no idea what he's saying.
Yeah.
So let's see here.
I didn't know it was 11. Hours.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's CNN,
here.
but yeah, okay. All right. So we're working on it. We will find an English version.
Topic?
Well, here we go. Let's do this. Let's look at what Router said he said. Okay. So according to this, the following is an unofficial, so let's keep that in mind, unofficial Router's translation from the Russian. Citizens of Russia, I am addressing to you in connection with the bloody barbaric terrorist act, the victims of which were dozens of peaceful, innocent people, our compatriots, including children, teenagers, and women. And we'll stop right there and we'll say that that's 100% accurate. Like, none of those people were warriors or soldiers. It wasn't a military base. It was.
That's what makes me think it was ISIS.
Yeah. Doctors are now fighting for the lives of the victims, those who are in serious condition. I am sure they will do everything possible and even impossible to save the lives and health of all the wounded. Special thanks to the ambulance and air ambulance crews, special forces, soldiers, firefighters, rescuers who did everything to save people's lives, get them out from under fire, from the epicenter of fire and smoke, and avoid even greater losses. And then, of course, there's ads upon ads. I cannot ignore the help of ordinary citizens who in the first minutes after the tragedy did not remain indifferent and, along with doctors and special services, provided first aid and took the victims to hospitals. I express my deep, sincere condolences to all who lost their loved ones. The whole country and our entire people are grieving with you. I declare March 24th a day of national mourning. Additional anti-terrorist and anti-sabotage measures have been introduced in Moscow and the Moscow region, in all regions of the country. The main thing now is to prevent those who are behind this bloodbath from committing a new crime. As for the investigation of this crime and the results of operational investigative actions, the following can currently be said. Quote, all 4 direct perpetrators of the terrorist attack, all those who shot and killed people, were found and detained. They tried to hide and move towards Ukraine, where, according to preliminary data, a window was prepared for them from the Ukrainian side to cross the state border. A total of 11 people were detained. So I heard 14, I heard 11, I heard different. I tend to believe what he's saying, at least as far as the number goes. I think he knows a little more. Whether that's accurate or not, we have no way of knowing. No. Whether even this translation is accurate, we don't even know. But the Federal Security Service of Russia and other law enforcement agencies are working to identify and uncover the entire terrorist support base. Those who provided them with transport, planned escape routes from the crime scene, prepared caches of weapons and ammunition. It is already obvious that we are faced not just with a carefully and cynically planned terrorist attack, but with the organized mass murder of peaceful, defenseless people. The criminals were cold-blooded and purposefully going to shoot our citizens at point-blank range, our children. Like the Nazis who once carried out massacres in the occupied territories, they planned to arrange a demonstrative execution, a bloody act of intimidation. All the perpetrators, organizers, and those who ordered this crime will be justly and inevitably punished. Whoever they are, whoever is guiding them. I repeat, we will identify and punish everyone who stands behind the terrorists who prepared this atrocity, this strike against Russia, against our people. We know what the threat of terrorism is. Here, we count on cooperation with all states that sincerely share our pain and are ready to really join forces in the fight against a common enemy, international terrorism, in all its manifestations. Terrorists, murderers, who do not and cannot have a nationality, face one unenviable fate: retribution and oblivion. They have no future. Our common duty now, our comrades in arms at the front, all citizens of the country, is to be together in one formation. I believe it will be so because no one and nothing can shake our unity and will, our determination and courage, the strength of the united people of Russia. No one will be able to sow the poisonous seeds of discord, panic, and discord in our multinational society. Russia has been through the hardest, sometimes unbearable trials more than once, but it has become even stronger. So it will be now. And that's the end. I don't know if that was the end of his address, if that was the entirety or simply an excerpt. I'm not sure. But I think it was a good address.
It was. He's a strong leader.
Yeah, and that's something that I've said over and over, and I truly believe it. He does what's best for Russia.
Yep, and that's fine.
In every circumstance, and that's what a leader should do.
Yeah.
Do what's best for their country. It was appropriate. It was, it says, let's see here. So RG10 says, to be honest, we expected in the address that Putin was preparing something grandiose, like Bush after
9/11.
Yeah, after 9/11. He says September 9th, but he meant September 11th. Yeah. But there was nothing useful in the appeal except that the terrorists were heading to Ukraine. Yeah. And here's the thing. I've heard that from more than him. I've heard it from more than Putin that they were on the way to the Ukraine border.
I heard that too. I think it was BBC that reported that.
Which, and I said this, if I were to plan an attack like that, not that I would, but if I did, I would do my best to blame an enemy already engaged, like Ukraine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they did. I'm not saying they're, but I would do my best to, which really blows my mind that ISIS would take responsibility if their goal was to blame someone else.
That's true too.
Why would you say, yeah, we did it, if your goal is to blame someone else? So the whole blaming someone else thing doesn't make sense if they take responsibility. So the secondary thought process is, why would they be headed to Ukraine? You would think there would be many, many easier ways out of the country than for the most heavily fortified border in the world right now. There's a literal war going on.
Yeah. To sow chaos, maybe?
That's a possibility. What else? Like, what do you guys think? Why would you head to Ukraine unless that's the real escape? Like, there's no reason to make it look like you're going there if you're not trying to go there, with ISIS taking responsibility. Again, had they not taken responsibility, it might be a different story. But with them saying, hey, look at us, we're cool, we did it.
Yeah, we might never know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Bizarre. Was there I thought there was something else you know what? Let's talk about free speech.
Okay.
Yeah. So here in the United States, we're kind of brought up to believe that we have free speech, right? We can make arguments that that's not the case. But in the meantime, let's look at free speech around the world.
All right.
Okay. One of the most concerning places these days is the UK. They used to be, even though it wasn't enshrined in their, constitution or whatever their thing is.
They don't really have a constitution,
right?
But
their charter, whatever you want to call it, they were generally pretty good about free speech up until several years ago. Like hold on. I want to show you guys this. I don't think I covered this. Maybe I did, but since we're talking about the bill, let me show you guys this. Real quick, going back to the appropriations bill. $1.2 trillion government spending bill at 2 a.m. and slipped in there is $400,000 from our taxes funneled to Briar Patch Youth Services. Briar Patch Youth Services gives 13-year-old kids chest binders, tuck equipment, and counseling, all without parental consent. This is all the evidence right here. Wow. So let me get back to what I'm trying to find.
Are you looking for what they did, somebody for just praying in the UK?
Yeah. Do you,
I can try.
Hold on. Let me show you Scotland, because there is something going on in Scotland as well that is extremely concerning for anyone who values the ability of free speech. Police officers in Scotland are being given training to target social media posts, including retweets, of material deemed, quote, threatening and abusive. Under the county's, I think he means country's, new hate crime law, actors and comedians are not given a free pass to make jokes about sensitive subjects that offend people either. The new training provided to officers, which was leaked to the Herald, requires police officers to go after anyone who produces material deemed threatening and abusive, which can be communicated through, quote, public performance of a play. Under the new hate crime law, people who make fun of or even misgender trans people, make racial jokes or criticisms of certain religions, or criticize migrants can be prosecuted. Quote, the different ways in which a person may communicate material to another person are by displaying, publishing, or distributing the material. For example, on a sign, on the internet, through websites, blogs, past podcasts, social media, etc., either directly or by forwarding or repeating material that originates from a third party, through printed media such as magazine publications or leaflets. The hate crime law goes on to state that, quote, giving, sending, showing, or playing the material to another person, listing examples such as, quote, through online streaming, by email, playing a video, through public performance of a play. So, repeat a joke you heard online or show someone a spicy meme or commentary of a transgender person or mass migration on your live stream, and you too will be arrested. Look at this. This is the how might threatening and abusive material be communicated. That's in Scotland, ladies and gentlemen, which used to be a great place. Like, used to be phenomenal. So that's one example. Let's go back. I got a few more, I think. Let's see here. Where's it at? Oh, and I want to show you this because I think this is very, very relevant. Okay, so RG10 has a good question. What WTF is misgender? Explain for Russian, please. Okay, so here, not just in the US, but in other countries, people are saying they're one. Okay, so like a guy, right? Let's pick Bill, right? Bill is a guy. Bill decides one day he's not a guy, he's a girl. And Bill says, you have to call me a she. There are places that are setting up laws that if you look at Bill, who has a beard, right? He has a beard, no makeup, wearing blue jeans and a t-shirt. If you say, hi, Bill, what can I do for, or if they say, what can I do for you today, Mr. Bill, sir, right? What can I do for you today, sir? That you can be charged with misgendering a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some states are trying to push to do that.
Yeah.
Michigan,
California, Michigan. There was Washington, I believe, Washington State.
So yes, that craziness.
And yeah, little bit of advertisement for my wife. I took her cup because it's awesome. It's a Yeti, and I use it to drink my water out of.
And we could go to England where a woman was arrested for praying.
There you go. Okay. So I'm going to keep this. Let me get. Okay. So, oh yeah.
Jordan Peterson.
Yep. All right. So here's this copy. Let me go to this. Okay, so woman arrested after praying silently near a Birmingham abortion clinic, subject to a PSPO. I'm not sure what that is yet. We'll find out, I think.
Okay.
Faith-based charity ADF UK shared a video of the arrest of Isabel Vaughn Spruce, 45, near an abortion clinic in Kings Norton, Birmingham.
It's basically a safe zone.
Charity volunteer who was praying outside an abortion clinic in Birmingham has been arrested and charged with is there no, like, I don't want to derail, but is there no editing and proofreading anymore for these online articles? Like, I find error after error after error. It drives me nuts because I'm a little bit of a grammar. Can I say Nazi? Can you even say Nazi anymore? I'm a little bit of a grammar Nazi.
Okay.
I've gotten much better with it. Right. Some people don't care. And I finally got to where I don't correct people's comments. It was tough. But charged with 4 counts of failing to comply with a public space protection order, PSPO. Oh, yeah. So RG10 gives crazy laughing. Yeah. It gets more nuts, man. I'm going to show you something that maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. It was from GameStop, and it's a girl who looks like a guy. And the person is like, okay, how can I help you, sir? Or something. And this dude starts screaming, "It's ma'am."
Oh, really? I haven't.
You haven't seen it? Oh my God. Okay, hold on. We'll get to that.
Okay.
It's a meme at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that.
Okay. This is a little while ago. Faith-based charity ADF UK shared the video. She said she was praying said she was approached by the police on December 6th, who asked her what she was doing while she was standing outside the clinic. She was later arrested after being searched at the scene. After the arrest, Isabel said, quote, "It's abhorrently wrong that I was searched, arrested, interrogated by police, and charged simply for praying in the privacy of my own mind." Now, it's important to realize that this woman was silently praying. She wasn't standing outside the abortion clinic yelling to God or on her knees screaming at the horrible, confused teens who were going in there. Because I have my own issues with that thing, right? And you don't have to agree. That's my decision, my choice, but stop bothering the confused teenagers, man. They're already like, oh my God, what do I do? There's nothing wrong with handing out information. There's nothing wrong, but these posters and these like screaming at them that they're whores and like, you're not accomplishing what you think you are. No. You're really, really, really not. Quote, "Censorship zones purport to ban harassment, which is already illegal. Nobody should ever be subject to harassment. But what I did was the furthest thing from harmful. I was exercising my freedom of thought, my freedom of religion, inside the privacy of my own mind. Nobody should be criminalized for thinking and for praying in a public space in the UK." I agree. Like, dude. All right. So there's another story. This one from...
For Canada.
Peterson. Yep. Okay. So good old Jordan Peterson. I don't know if you guys have follow him. My buddy, it's kind of funny because I don't know if you guys remember Sports Illustrated had put, before they put transgenders on the cover, they put a chick that you wouldn't traditionally consider skinny. She had a few extra pounds. I remember that. Remember that? Okay. Jordan Peterson came out and is like, basically, nobody finds that beautiful, right? Well, I'm gonna tell you, my buddy likes big girls, right? That's just his thing, man. We all got our thing. He likes to slap the thigh and ride it on the wave. That's just, I know that's gross. I'm just being dumb, but he likes them. He likes girls with a little meat on their bones, right? That's what he likes. So he went off, man. He's like, "Oh, this guy, who is this guy?" I'm like, not everybody feels the way you do, bro. Like, the traditional beauty standard is fairly, in shape, right? Let's use that, in shape. He's like, "Oh, this guy, F him, and he's not done the..." I'm like, it's okay, man. We can have different opinions, dude. Anyway, all right, let's go to okay, yeah, this. All right, so let's talk about Jordan Peterson. Now, this is just to the north of us, Canada. I've actually been to Canada. What was interesting at the time was the U.S. dollar. In the U.S., we don't take Canadian currency at all. I have yet, even on the border, like they don't take Canadian currency. You got to change it to American currency. In Canada, certain places do take U.S. dollars. I went to a delivery to an auto plant up there, and they had this huge buffet set up for their workers and delivery guys, and it cost me like $2 for as much food as I wanted.
Wow.
Yeah. And now, granted, this was back in what was this, like 20 something? It was 20 years ago, give or take. But nonetheless, I then went. I was in Ontario, I think. I'd have to look at a map. I don't remember exactly, but I believe it was Ontario. And I went to Burger King, and I didn't have any Canadian money on me. And this was the before credit cards really were widespread. Most of the stuff you did was cash. So I went to Burger King and I asked them, I'm like, hey, do you take US currency? They were like, oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The price was dirt cheap in US currency compared to what we pay here in US currency. I found that very, very interesting, but moving on.
All right, off to Jordan Peterson.
So Jordan Peterson must undergo social media sensitivity training, a Canadian court ruled. This guy, because he's having wrongthink, right? Because he doesn't believe what they do, he is a danger to society.
He needs to get out of Canada.
He really does. The training, a coaching program on professionalism in public statements, was mandated by the College of Psychologists of Ontario in 2022 after it received complaints tied to Peterson's aggressive use of social media, something the organization saw as professional misconduct. Peterson then filed for a judicial review, arguing he was entitled to make such statements. 3 divisional court judges, however, ruled that the organization was allowed to make such demands of Peterson because it did so in the public best interest. Quote, the order is not disciplinary and does not prevent Dr. Peterson from expressing himself on controversial topics. It has a minimal impact on his right to freedom of expression. The decision, written by Justice Paul Shabazz, reads in part. Peterson got on X and said, so the Ontario Court of Appeal, I think they meant appeal. It's exactly what I'm talking about.
I noticed that too.
Ruled that at CP Ontario can pursue their prosecution. He wrote, if you think that you have a right to free speech in Canada, you're delusional. I will make every aspect of this public and we will see what happens when utter transparency is the rule. Bring it on. Some sided with Peterson, questioning the integrity of the College of Psychologists. Other commenters, however, felt the ruling was justified.
If I remember right, it was something that he said he refuses to call transgender people by their correct gender.
Yeah. Now that's a funny term because I want to take issue with that. If you guys say, I want you to say that again. Say exactly what you just said. Do you know what you just said?
Did I say that he refuses to call them by their correct
gender?
Yeah.
Now, why is that important? Because who determines what is their correct gender? Is it them? Because I identify as Oprah. Where's my money?
Yeah, where's your money?
Where's my money?
Give me some of the money.
Yeah, I want to go to the bank and access my funds since I can be whomever and whatever I choose to be. I identify as Elon Musk. Give me my bank accounts. That's stupid.
I get your point.
It's stupid, but so in this case, who and just like all hate speech, clauses and all that stuff, who determines what's correct? Who determines what's right? Who determines what we can say? It used to be in the United States that we could say whatever we wanted because it was enshrined. And some people have the mixed up idea that the Bill of Rights grants us rights. It does not. It scales back the government. Its entire intention is to impose restrictions on our government. It doesn't grant us anything.
It's supposed to protect our rights.
Yeah.
Because our rights come from God.
So let's see here. RG says, it seems to me that in your USA, you can call any person, except, of course, LGBT and black, LOL, calling it freedom of speech. In Europe, they burn the Quran and call it freedom of speech. It seems to me that this is not freedom of speech. It is already a violation of the rights and freedoms of other people. But punishing for jokes and for an adequate opinion is nonsense. Here's the thing, right? I believe that you should be able to burn the Quran. I believe that you should be able to burn the Bible. I believe that you should be able to burn the flag. However, this is a big however, you're going to suffer the consequences of those actions. If you burn a flag in front of a group of, especially veteran bikers, they're going to beat your ass. That's just all there is to it. And they will happily take the assault charges. It'll be a badge of honor. They'll have something made into a patch and put it on their vest. That's just the way it is. Now, I believe at the same time that if you want to go around telling people you're a cat, knock yourself out. But don't insist that they call you something, because that's their freedom of speech. You're infringing on someone else's freedom of speech by insisting that they call you something. Which reminds me, hold on.
Yes, the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have not even heard. How long ago was this?
Oh, it was 5 years ago.
Okay.
So here we go. Let me make sure I got it shared to the right one here. I got to get it. If it's not on a tab, then the audio's weird. Okay. Here we go. So this is it. I'm pretty sure this is at GameStop. Okay, here it is. Excuse me.
All right.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to. You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay? Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am. Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to. You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay? Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. This is general.
Right beforehand, you said sir.
Wait, he's going to lose his mind.
Take it outside. If you want to call me sir again, I will show you a sir.
I apologize.
Okay.
Right, hold on. Kicking stuff, storming out.
I need your corporate number.
Change the
And we're
mind.
gonna call them and talk about how I was misgendered several times in the store.
So
I need your corporate number now. Get it for me now. Give me your corporate number. Well, I'm going to ask you for the 5th time to stop calling me a man, because quite clearly I am not.
right, quite clearly. And that's what I want to address, right? This individual insists that their gender is clear. And that's part of the problem that we're having, right? Because we're in crazy clown world now, where something can look like that, very masculine in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just looks very masculine. Just because you have a purse and some heels doesn't make you a chick. It just doesn't. And there are several stories like this of people that just respond when, like, I've been a waiter, right? It's just, sir, ma'am, whatever just happens to come out. It's not intentional. It's not. There's someone who got famous by going to restaurants to be purposefully misgendered so that they could complain.
Oh,
So it's a
really?
TikTok user. That's their whole thing. That's what they do. It's insane. I'll show you guys the rest of this real quick.
That number, is that okay?
Yes, get it for me now.
I'm asking stop.
Get it for me now. I'm
I
not
keep
cussing.
moving
I'm
because
not
I don't want to block
cussing.
that word.
Get me the damn number now, please. Ooh.
Ma'am, I apologize.
Ooh.
I will get you that number right now.
No, you're just gonna keep bumping your gums. You're just gonna keep bumping your gums and disrespecting trans people in your store, which I plan on telling the entire LGBT community. You're going to lose money over this.
I mean, that's it. It has become a meme at this point. Oh, he says in Russia, he would have already been beaten and imprisoned. Sorry. You know what?
True.
And I'll say this. I don't know. I don't know that that's necessarily the solution
I don't think it's a solution.
necessarily, but I will say this. We have got to stop feeding into these delusions. Mental health needs to be a priority because just 10, 15 years ago, this was a mental disorder. It was qualified in the American, whatever the psychiatric journal of illnesses, right? It was qualified as gender dysphoria and it was treated. Now it's applauded. People are put on TV, they're put on magazines. This is the same guy. I don't know if you saw it. This is the same guy who threatened Ben Shapiro.
Is it?
Yeah, did you see that clip?
I think so.
Where the transgender told him he was going to take him outside, put his hand on his neck and
I think I heard. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, this is, let's see. I think it's the same individual.
I don't know. That would be.
But here's the article. This is, I just pulled up the first one, which was the Times of Israel. Yeah, Jewish pundit and trans journalist and on-air spat. Zoe Tur tells Ben Shapiro he will go home in an ambulance after the latter insists on calling her sir. Yeah, put the hand on it, like the pressure on, like, and I mean Ben Shapiro's a little dude, man. He's not exactly physically threatening. Try that with me.
Yeah.
Try that with me. Like that's all I'm saying. It says in Russia, LGBT people are an extremist organization. That's why. And I'll say this: that's the way it used to be here. But so many of them have taken over real positions of power. And it's becoming very because they're one of the people you can't criticize anymore. At least unless you want to be canceled, right? It's not technically illegal to like misgender someone, at least yet in the United States, to misgender, to what's the other one they call it? Dead name. For those of you who don't know what dead naming is, when a transgender individual goes from their birth sex, right? And they decide to change, they change genders, right? I'm no longer a guy. Now I'm a girl. My name was Mike. Now it's Mary. If you call them Mike, you are accused of dead naming them.
Yeah, I've heard that now.
Yeah. And that actually became like really a big deal when that psycho that played the Flash. You know what I'm talking about? What's the name of the actress, whatever. Hold on. Who played the Flash in the new movies? No. Where is it at? I don't want to see. In the most recent. What's the name of the. Hold on. In Justice League. Yeah, there we go. Ezra Miller. That's the name.
Okay.
Do you know who Ezra Miller is?
I do not.
This freak. And yes, I use the term freak because they are messed up in the head. They like kidnapped a kid and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it was nuts. Here, let's just do this. Ezra.
In a movie?
No, like in real life.
Wow.
Yeah, look. That person.
Whoa.
Here, I'll show you guys. There. Yeah. Ezra Miller's Messiah Delusions.
That's frightening.
Yeah, they like did all kinds of crazy stuff. It says during the course of their investigation, police determined that the individual, later identified as Ezra Miller, became irate after being asked to leave, reportedly threw a chair, striking a 26-year-old female on the forehead, resulting in an approximate half-inch cut. They did all kinds of crazy stuff, like all kinds of stuff. They got arrested, pled guilty to unlawfully trespassing at a neighbor's house, like all kinds of stuff. And this is one of the reasons, aside from the fact that I heard the movie was atrocious, this is one of the reasons why I didn't watch the newest Flash, even though it had Michael, what's his name, as Batman, Keaton. Michael Keaton as Batman, which I appreciated that, man. I wanted to see that. But even though it had him, I just can't do it, man. I can't support people like this. I just cannot. I don't like, maybe if they lose a bunch of money, they'll stop giving him a paycheck, like whatever.
That's
but
crazy.
Yeah, there was this big thing where he decided he wasn't a man anymore. He was like non-binary, and then he was this, and then he was that. And he went by a different name, and people were like still calling him Ezra Miller. And he's like, "Oh, you're dead naming me." And like, just
I never.
These people need help. They need help. We need to help them, but we're not going to help them by feeding the delusion. Just like with the people that are schizophrenic, right? You don't help them by feeding their delusions. You don't help them by agreeing, "Oh yeah, absolutely, rats are coming through the wall."
But the problem is, do they want to get the help too?
Right. And that's a great point, because in many cases, I'm going to tell you the root of the problem. In many cases, not all, but in many cases, it is the media and the push of this lifestyle onto very impressionable kids. You've got these teachers who feel it's their calling to teach these kids about, quote, LGBT elemental P stuff. And these kids, they don't know any better. They're kids. We tell them, go to school, listen to your teachers, do what they tell you, right? I mean, that's generally I would say teachers are probably second only to parents as far as the hierarchy and who we tell kids they should listen to. So if you have a teacher that is particularly interested in teaching LGBTQ stuff, then that's what you're going to get.
You want to do one more topic and then? Yeah.
We'll do one more topic and then wrap it up. This one I thought was very, very interesting. I gotta find it. I'm pretty sure I sent it to you. We're going to cover 12 conspiracy theories.
Okay, let's do that.
That have turned out to actually be true. I did send it to you. I'm sure I did. There it is. Okay. All right.
I have not read it though, so this will be
slacker. No, I'm just kidding.
This will be interesting.
Yeah. So this is
more interesting.
This is, again, 12 conspiracy theories, because I plan on what I'd really like to do is for each of our shows, we're going to introduce a conspiracy theory, right? At the end, we're not saying they're true, but some of the things that we found that bear thinking about, right? But these, to kind of kick us off, these are 12 conspiracy theories that actually turned out to be true. This article is Reader's Digest, and it is by Lauren Kahn, whoever that is. They say the truth is stranger than fiction. That's no lie. All of these so-called conspiracy theories turned out to be legit. So this is pretty wild. Yeah, it's a conspiracy of silence. We're not saying that every cuckoo bananas thing you hear is legitimate. We're just saying that's the case sometimes. These 12 theories were too crazy to be true until they weren't. So one, I don't know. I guess that's supposed to be Illuminati or something. I don't know. But here's where we go. The Dead Baby Project. Laughing at crazy conspiracy theories is good fun until they turn out to be true. Take the conspiracy surrounding Project Sunshine, for example. In the wake of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which, by the way, the United States government, the United States itself, is still the only country to actually use the atomic bomb, nuclear bomb, whatever you want to call it, on another country. Other countries have tested it. We are the only one who have nuked people. The U.S. government commenced a major study to measure the effects of nuclear fallout on the human body. The conspiracy was that the government was stealing dead bodies to do radioactive testing. The truth is the government was stealing parts of dead bodies. Because they needed young tissue, they recruited a worldwide network of agents to find recently deceased babies and children, and then take samples and even limbs, each collected without notification or permission of the more than 1,500 grieving families. That's nuts, isn't it?
That is.
Excuse me.
Never.
Moving on. Bad booze. You probably know this one.
I have.
Conspiracy. During Prohibition, the government poisoned alcohol to keep people from drinking. You would think, here, you know what? I'm looking at the screen. It's kind of small. There we go. That's the claim. The truth is, crazy conspiracy theories almost always suggest the government is behind it all. And they were right. Again, manufacturers of industrial alcohol had been mixing their product with dangerous chemicals for years prior to Prohibition. But between 1926 and 1933, the federal government pushed manufacturers to use stronger poisons to discourage bootleggers from turning the alcohol into moonshine. That didn't stop the bootleggers or their customers. And by the end of Prohibition, more than 10,000 Americans had been killed by tainted booze. Limiting alcohol is a health advice doctors can agree on, but these 11 health controversies and conspiracies still divide people. Yes, the United States government poisoned alcohol. It's a really great government we got, isn't it? The first lady who ran the country. You knew this one, didn't you?
Yep.
A stroke rendered President Woodrow Wilson incapable of governing, and his wife surreptitiously stepped in. The truth? Wilson did suffer a debilitating stroke toward the end of his presidency, but the government felt it was in the country's best interest to keep things quiet.
They'd never be able to get away with that today.
Right. Of course not. Yeah, they'd never have someone who wasn't fully. I know.
I'm going to say having a stroke, but you can make the case about Biden not being all there, but I don't know if he had a stroke or.
I mean, he had two prior to the presidency.
Brain hemorrhage.
Yeah. So, RG, if that's what they wanted, why didn't they just introduce Prohibition? They did. The public didn't learn about the stroke for months, during which time his wife, Edith Wilson, was making most executive decisions. Once again, an unelected individual making decisions on behalf of the country. Certainly that could never happen today. Despite Mrs. Wilson claiming that she acted only as a steward, historians who have analyzed the Wilson term in office confirm that for well over a year, Mrs. Wilson was effectively president. Government mind control. The CIA was testing LSD and other hallucinogenic drugs on Americans in a top secret experiment on behavior modification. That couldn't be possibly real. The truth. The program was known as MK Ultra And it was/is real.
Uh-huh.
The CIA started by using volunteers. The novelist Ken Kesey was one notable subject. But the program heads soon began dosing people without their knowledge. MK Ultra left many victims permanently and mentally disabled. Yeah.
I've heard that one.
Yep. And as a little side note, the claim was that they stopped doing this back in the 60s. I think it was 60s, 70s, something like that.
Yeah.
But yet, I'm still hearing stories of MK Ultra victims.
I'm very skeptical of what the government.
Anytime the CIA says, "Yeah, we stopped doing that," I don't believe them personally.
Yeah, I don't.
All right, so check this out: the Dalai Lama, right? Have you heard about him?
I know the Dalai Lama, but I
Yeah.
just saw the.
Yeah.
I never heard this.
The Dalai
conspiracy
Lama's
theory.
impressive salary.
I never heard this one.
The conspiracy is that the Dalai Lama is actually a CIA agent. You haven't heard that?
Wow.
Here's the truth. Perhaps the reason the Dalai Lama is smiling in all those photos has something to do with the six-figure salary he pulled down from the U.S. government during the 1960s.
Really?
Yeah. According to declassified intelligence documents, he earned $180,000 in connection with the CIA's funding of the Tibetan resistance to the tune of $1.7 million per year. The idea was to disrupt and hamper China's infrastructure. Yeah. So anytime the Dalai Lama speaks on something, just remember he is more than willing to accept money from places like the CIA.
That is good to know.
It's very good to
And
know,
that
isn't
might-
it?
That might be why China doesn't like the Dalai Lama.
Yes. Yeah, that's one
One of the
reason.
reasons.
Yep.
I never heard that. Oh yeah, I've heard this one.
So John Lennon under government surveillance. The FBI was spying on former Beatle John Lennon. That can't be true. Crazy conspiracy theories regarding celebs are always interesting, and this one is most certainly true. Like many counterculture heroes, Lennon was considered a threat. Quote, anti-war songs like Give Peace a Chance didn't exactly endear former Beatle John Lennon to the Nixon administration, NPR reported in 2010. Quote, in 1971, the FBI put Lennon under surveillance, and the Immigration and Naturalization Service tried to deport him a year later.
Yeah, I learned about that. Yeah.
See, Shawn knows about all this stuff. There's only been one so far you didn't know, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, this one.
The government is
definitely.
spying on you. We've talked about this on the show.
Uh-huh.
Conspiracy. With the advances in technology, the government is using its vast resources to track citizens. The truth. In 2016, government agencies sent 49,868 requests for user data to Facebook, 27,850 to Google, and 9,076 to Apple, according to the EFF, the Electronic Frontier Foundation, a major nonprofit organization that defends civil liberties in the digital world and advises the public on matters of internet privacy. You've probably also heard that your computer camera could be used to spy on you. Here's the real likelihood someone is watching you through that camera. The short version is yes, your camera can be used to spy on you. That's why I recommend personally a camera that has a flip down capability or a hardwired switch on your computer that you can turn it off.
Do you want to show them real quick the data center, the huge data center, that NSA center in Utah that's collecting our data?
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
If you want to.
No, go away. Okay. So what is it? The
NSA data center, Utah.
Let's see here. NSA data center. There it is. Utah data
show
center.
How big it is.
Saratoga Springs, Utah. All right. So here is the actual government info on it. Here's Wikipedia. What do you think? You want to check Wikipedia and see what they say?
Yeah.
According to Wikipedia, which we know Wikipedia isn't always perfect, but on non-political things, they seem to do fairly well. According to this, it's a data storage facility for the United States intelligence community that is designed to store data. Oh, hold on. I'm not on the right tab. Give me a second, guys. Sorry.
I found it. What I was looking for.
Okay.
Can I send it to you?
Hold on. I just need to. No, this is the right one. I just got to share the
I
right
found
tab.
what I was looking for.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Let me, instead of Wikipedia, let me use what you got.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. In the meantime,
Here you go. I sent it.
okay. In the meantime, okay, let me get back to. Okay, let's go to this.
Look how huge that is.
Oh, hold on. Let me finish this
Okay.
because I'm on a tab and it's not working right.
That's
so
fine.
we're going to show you though. We're going to show you the NSA Center. The next one, Big Tobacco knew that cigarettes cause cancer. That one, we all should know this by now. At the beginning of the 1950s, research was showing an indisputable statistical link between smoking and lung cancer, but it wasn't until the late 90s that Philip Morris admitted it. Fake battle, real war. Conspiracy. The Gulf of Tonkin incident on August 2nd, 1964 was faked to provoke American support for the Vietnam War. Have you heard of this one?
I have not.
The truth. By the time the news reached American ears, the facts surrounding the North Vietnamese attack on the naval ship Maddox were already fuzzy. Declassified intelligence documents have since revealed that the Maddox had provided support for South Vietnamese attacks on a nearby island, and that the North Vietnamese were responding in kind. According to the U.S. Naval Institute, the event, quote, opened the floodgates for direct American military involvement in Vietnam. Here's what they claimed, right? The U.S. government, via the news, claimed that it was unprovoked attack on an American ship. They said, well, the North Vietnamese attacked us. We have to do something, right? Kind of like Pearl Harbor. I'm not saying Pearl Harbor was unprovoked or any of that, right? But what I'm saying is the claim was that it was like Pearl Harbor, right?
And that's
We were
what brought us
just
into
bombed.
Vietnam.
On the other hand, yeah, they were actually supporting South Vietnam with fire support, and they were helping them, right?
I see.
Or excuse me, they were helping South Vietnam. And North Vietnam attacked them because you're helping the enemy. So, yeah, very interesting. There is alien evidence in the American Southwest.
Yeah.
Conspiracy. ET is buried in the desert in New Mexico. The truth. This one is real. The Atari video game, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, failed so miserably that the company buried unsold cartridges in a desert
I've heard
landfill. Yeah. So if you guys aren't aware, Atari was huge when I was a kid. It was massive. It was the video game system.
And I played it.
See? So they made this game called E.T. and it was based on the movie E.T., which was a good movie, especially at the time. It was really good. They made a video game. This video game was so bad. It was atrocious.
You tried playing it?
I tried. It was terrible. It was terrible. I wanted it so bad because it's E.T., dude. My mom went out, got it for me. Oh, it's a true. Look it up. Like, I'm not going to cover it now. Look it up. Let's move on. Canada tried to develop gaydar. The Canada government was so paranoid about homosexuality that it developed a gaydar machine, which is really wild compared to how they are today.
Yeah.
This is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's almost like prescience, almost like they could see the future.
Uh-huh.
The truth. It really happened. In the 1960s, the government hired a university professor to develop a way to detect homosexuality in federal employees. Homosexuality. He came up with a machine that measured pupil dilation in response to same-sex erotic imagery. The Canadian government used it to exclude or fire more than 400 men from civil service, the military, and the Mounties.
Wow.
That part I did not know. I didn't know they actually fired people over this. The Illuminati and the U.S. government. Here we go. The conspiracy is that a secret society rules the world. The Illuminati and the U.S. National Security Agency, NSA, are in cahoots. We're here to tell you that a link does, in fact, exist. Of course, that link is actually a hyperlink, i.e. an electronic link between two internet sites. If you type Illuminati backwards, right? Let's see here. Itanamuli, Illuminati backwards, into a web browser, you will land on the NSA website. Click this link if you dare. Rumor has it this elite society includes tons of famous personalities, actors, actresses, and performers. And there are 18 insane conspiracy theories about the royal family. But here it is, Illuminati.com backwards. Indeed, it takes you to the NSA. Here, I don't think there should be any more videos, so I'm going to just share my screen because it's easier.
You're going to do that article real quick,
Yeah.
and then we'll wrap up.
There, I'll show you. Yeah, it takes you to the NSA. I'm going to put us down at the bottom so you can see National Security Agency, Central Security Service. Yeah. So let me get to, okay. Oh, no, that's the Wikipedia one. Hold on. I think it was on. Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
All right. So this is the $2 billion facility where the NSA stores and analyzes your communications. Oh, wait. We'll put us at the bottom so you can see there you go.
That's a huge building.
Yeah. Business Insider is the article. Businessinsider.com. And then just, if you go there and search, put any of this in and it should take you to it. I always try to provide viewers with a way to find it. But look at this thing. A person there's the doors, right? So look how massive this thing is.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord. Building up 1 million square foot data mining complex that will house a 100,000 square foot mission critical data center. The NSA's official mandate is to listen to and decode all foreign communications of interest to the security of the U.S. Foreign. But given the fact that the NSA already reportedly intercepts 1.7 billion American electronic records and communications per day, it makes sense they would need to expand operations beyond its sprawling headquarters at Fort Meade, Maryland. Yeah, their headquarters in Fort Meade are massive as well. So they got the Fort Meade one. Now they built this one. The facility, called the Utah Data Center, is located on Camp Williams, a training facility for the Utah National Guard, and it's already operational. And boy, does it seem like an impressive operation. Look. Those are doors right there. So that's like people sized, right? That's a truck. These are vehicles. So you can see how big this place is. These, there's a truck right there. There's a little, I don't know, a little machine crane, whatever, forklift, it looks like. Yeah. This is
spying on Americans.
Huge.
Edward Snowden proved it to me enough.
Yeah. So this guy says once it's operational, the Utah Data Center will become, in effect, the NSA cloud. The center will be fed data from the agency's eavesdropping satellites, overseas listening posts, and secret monitoring rooms and telecom facilities throughout the USA. And look, here's all the.
It's live now. I think.
Yeah, they said it's already. Okay. Yeah, it's already active. So here's NSA Georgia, Aerospace Data Facility, NSA Hit, like all this stuff. All these satellites go to the aerospace facility, which feeds it to the Utah Data Center, NSA Georgia, NSA Texas, Hawaii, various domestic listening posts, various overseas listening posts, all feed into here. And then it goes to NSA headquarters and multi-program research facility. From NSA headquarters, it's filtered to the White House, the CIA, and the Pentagon. Yep.
Pretty crazy.
All right, RG. See you soon, man. Take care.
Thank you for
thank you for watching us, man. I appreciate that. Get some rest. We're going to be wrapping it up here very soon anyway. The Utah Data Center, let's face it, their entire purpose is to spy on people. That's their whole job. It's to analyze all the data that they get from various sources, including the internet, your phone, your TV, any smart devices can potentially be used to spy on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any smart devices, the ones that, your TV that has the internet on it and listens for your voice so you can tell it to, switch it to Fox News or CNN or whatever. Yeah. They've already shown those microphones are active all the time. There are certain models. I have one that are only active when you hold the button. That's why I got that one. But in general, it has the capability, if they wanted to kick on the mic at any time. All of them, all the smart devices can do that. And Apple has already admitted that they basically store all of your text searches, your conversations, like everything. I'm sure that other providers do the same thing. It's not I'm not picking on Apple. They all freaking do it. So it's just that Apple was like, yeah, we do it. But, and this is a big but towards Apple. Apple is very particular about who they let who they give the back door to. And Apple has actually fought with the U.S. government on more than one occasion to block access to devices because the government says we want the backdoor access, and Apple says, no, we're not giving you that. That would open you up to being able to listen to anybody's device at any time. We're not doing that. We will grant you access to this device if you show us probable cause. I got to give it to Apple. They've got, I have their issues with Apple, but it mostly concerns their right to repair and their proprietary plugs and all that crap. As far as security and privacy, they're pretty good, all things considered. Anything else you want to say before we wrap up? We're at 2 hours, man. That went quick.
Nope. I got
good?
everything. Yeah.
All right. As always, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you joining us. I think we've covered some really good stuff. We're going to see do you have your schedule yet?
I do, but we're going to have to talk about that.
Okay. We'll talk about it offline. I have a whole lot coming up as far as shows go, and I will make sure to share it at least on. You guys follow me on X. I put my schedule on X all the time as far as the shows coming up, either X or Facebook, which I hate Facebook personally, but it has its uses. X, I'll make sure to put the upcoming schedule. I've got candidates for all next week. I have the chairman of the LaPorte County Republican Party, Al Stevens. He's coming on, and 2 candidates for judge for circuit court. A whole lot.
3, but was it 3? Oh,
well, yeah, we had Chuck Watterson. I had Chuck Watterson on already. He did a great job in his interview, I think. We have Julianne Havens, and I always forget the third guy's name. I kind of feel bad, but we have him coming on. Wife knows his name. I always forget, but just pay attention, and it's coming up. So as always, thank you for joining us. We'll see you very soon. God bless you. God bless Indiana, and God bless the United States of America. And you know what? God bless Russia too. Thanks for joining us, RG.
If you'd like to support the show, please visit our Patreon at patreon.com/Dion's Daily Dose. This has been Dion's Daily Dose, hosted by Dion Bergeron. Executive producers, Sean Holgram and Michael Beebe. Copyright 2024. Dion's Daily Dose, all rights reserved.